All right, we are here for a special episode of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast where we're talking about what just happened at WWE Backlash. I'm Ryan Hall. I got Dominique LaRue joining us as always. And Dom, um, this was kind of an up and down show, I can't lie. It was kind of an inconsistent show, so to speak.
Yeah, it was very up and down. Um they did well by starting it off with a four-way match, but uh if anybody has played WWE 2K games and you play my GM mode, uh you kind of get a grasp of how to run a WWE show. And you start a PLE off great with a four-way match and then kind of fall flat towards the end. And normally you don't get a very good rating on the game when you do that.
Yeah.
But all in all, I mean, we're never going to complain about any product,
Yeah.
being shown on a PLE outside of, giving us things to talk about and watching some of our favorite wrestlers go at it, especially, two of the top superstars from, our era,
Yeah.
the attitude slash ruthless aggression era. So,
Yep. Yeah,
but
the Hogan and Savage of our times.
yeah, oh yeah, no doubt. Um, I feel like I said this to you. I feel like it was just another one of those glorified PLEs to get us through to the next one that we're definitely looking forward to is Money in the Bank, because Money in the Bank is always a big PLE. It's not one of the top four, but it's definitely a second tier
It's getting
PLE.
up there. It's getting
It,
up there though.
it's getting there though. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you want to just run down match by match and talk about our feelings on it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So first off, we had Jacob Fatu retaining the United States Championship in that four-way match with LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Um, Jacob Fatu, I feel like with the ending of that match, and you want to, of course, talk about the ending of that match, but I feel like with the ending of that match, um, there's a lot of potential storyline with Jacob Fatu that could come out of that because a it wasn't just a dominant Jacob Fatu kind of win, although he was doing Jacob Fatu things. Let's not get it twisted.
Yes.
But it wasn't like a dominant kind of win because we had a surprise debut. Somebody that we've been looking forward to seeing in WWE.
Yeah, we have. He got signed earlier this year, I believe
Yep.
it was. Yeah. But Jeff Cobb had to
Yeah.
make sure, had to look on my phone, make sure his name. I didn't want to get his name wrong.
No, no, no.
But that was one of the big surprises that I wasn't expecting for tonight.
Right.
I'm very glad of the surprise. It was very needed for a PLE like this. Um, Shockingly, we was talking about this the upcoming weeks from what happened at WrestleMania. I thought that we was going to get some type of match between Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn or somebody to follow up with what's been going on Raw and get a surprise third member of that group. But surprisingly, we got a third, well, not third, but more like fifth member of the Bloodline 2.0. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and Jacob wasn't too happy about that.
No, he was not happy about that. Get out of that mean.
Yeah, he was very not pissed. He was more like
Confused.
TF look, like
Yeah.
who's this guy? And then also, like you said, I mean, Jacob, first and foremost, Jacob don't need no help. Jacob don't want no help. Jacob was never gonna ask for help.
Right.
He told Solo straight up, he said, I don't need no plan. I am the plan. So,
Yeah.
and he was holding his own for sure. It wasn't like he was like, oh, Jacob need help, but he wasn't inviting the fact that, Solo laid out the guys and was like, hey, take LA Knight. We just served him up on a platter for you to get an easy win. So with that being said, I am very interested to see how things unfold between Solo and Jacob.
Yes. Yes. Like I feel like I had a hunch that Solo was going to play in the finish of that match. Because I've been saying this on the podcast for weeks. I still feel like we're going to get that "I hate you" Solo moment, and the crowd's going to lose their ever loving minds. But I feel and just kind of launch Jacob Fatu into just golden boy babyface territory because it's already it's coming. But I feel like this twist with Solo Sikoa feels feels like it's almost inevitable to maybe a SummerSlam match because Jacob Fatu, he didn't like you said, he talking about I don't need help. I don't want help. I am the plan. I am the help. And I'm curious how, you know, I'm curious what they're gonna do with Jeff Cobb after this. First of all, how Samoan adjacent is that man? Because they're definitely going to put him in that bloodline. I know he's from the islands, but how Samoan adjacent is he?
I necessarily think he has to be too Samoan to be associated. I mean, I guess that Pacific kind of, like the islands type. If you got some type of heritage within that realm,
Yeah.
I guess you can classify. I mean, to be honest, I was this age, today old when I found out that Yokozuna wasn't even Japanese. So, you know,
You mean Uncle Rodney?
yes, yes, yes. So,
Yeah.
because I had this profound look on my face. I was looking at like the history, and they were showing everybody, and I was like, Yokozuna was Japanese, and I looked, and I was like, oh, so this whole time I was wrestling with a Samoan, other than a Japanese person. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, it's WWE. You got a guy wearing a superhero outfit and jumping off screen like he's flying, and The Rock is looking up like he actually flew. So I mean, hey.
Yeah, I mean, the next thing you're going to tell us is that Abdullah the Butcher isn't from Sudan, but from Canada. Oh, wait, he actually is.
or the boogeyman, was eating live worms, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But kind of getting back to the kind of getting back to that match. I feel um like I kind of feel like the match was really good. I mean, I kind
It
of feel
was.
like that. I mean, I feel like that match and the main event, and we're gonna get to the messy finish of that main event, but were the two best matches on the whole card.
Mm,
Um, because I feel like the way that storyline, the way they booked the story of that match, it almost kind of felt like it was never inevitable for Jacob to win, but it was obvious, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
Um, because so many of these Jacob Fatu title defenses have been just inevitable, but that never felt inevitable.
You you threw a curveball with me on that one, like you said, the two best matches. But I understand where you're going because
Right.
the way it was built, the way it presented itself, like obviously you couldn't go wrong with either four-man winning the title, but with the build of Jacob Fatu and the rocket, as we say, strapped to his back, it wouldn't have made sense for him to lose that belt this early within his reign.
Right.
And but if he was to lose, it wouldn't really necessarily hurt him. That's the great thing about a four-way match. Jacob don't have to be pinned to like take his momentum away from him.
Right.
Now he goes back being a chaser, and it still strengthens him as a person as far as his character or whatever, and he can just get it back at Money in the Bank. I mean, or whatever, however you want to get it. But my matches that I believe that was good. I mean, those two are the best ones out of the night for story wise. But as far as like in ring competition and just top, that and Dom and Penta match was pretty good to me in
Yeah.
ring.
You're not
So,
wrong. You are not wrong. You are not wrong. Um,
but my eye as far as like, well, where do we go from here? Obviously, we see these small cracks and things about Judgment Day that are slowly getting built up to potentially happen and be inevitable. Um, who else? Drew. I think Drew and Priest still got some unresolved business to
oh,
tend to kind of like get
there's
them away
definitely
from each
still
other.
some heat going on with them.
There's still some heat between them. And now with the addition of Cobb, they're definitely going to use LA Knight as his first, big rivalry in a sense, which is great. I mean, like, I hate to say it, but LA Knight kind of puts me in the mind of, okay, so any new talent that comes into NXT, they always got him going against what's his name? The dude that did uh what was his name? It's funny because I played, I think, 2K22 or 21 or whatever, and he was kind of like a what it was. He was kind of like the stepping stone to get you in the business and going. I had to look up his name and get back to you on it, but it's
You're good. Yeah.
yeah, it was he always wore his jersey and he was doing a little thing with his elbow and he had long hair, but I can't remember his name. But I think it's Curtis O or something along those lines. Uh
Are you talking about Odyssey Jones?
no, not Odyssey Jones. No, no, no.
Okay.
Now it's gonna bug me. Can't, I can't let the podcast go without saying his name. Hold on.
So it's gonna be like you're gonna wake up at 3 a.m. this morning and like, damn it, that's that guy's name.
Yeah, I know, right? It'd be too late. I have to wait the next week to get it in.
Right.
But I'll look it up while we continue. But yeah, LA Knight and him looking like they might have a little rivalry going together. But the end game is definitely going to be Solo and Jacob Fatu for sure.
Yeah.
And potentially, nah, I ain't gonna be money. Money in the bank's too soon. It definitely, like you said, um, to quote you, them two are definitely heading towards SummerSlam night one, I believe.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I definitely see that. Can we talk about that women's match?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have to for
Yeah.
the sake of our pod, but I don't know how you feel about it, and I don't know how most of the fans feel about it. Uh, but I'm kind of, I won't say I'm over Becky, but the mystique of the man has really has died down really. So
Heel Becky Lynch is not hitting for me.
it's not.
It's not hitting for me because like the way that that match unfolded, the way that that match was booked, I mean, Becky Lynch, like it just rings so weird to me that she's taking cheap shots at Lyra's fiance. That never seemed like she always, babyface Becky always struck me as like a fighting champion, just like, just like this tough Irish chick, but I know he'll, she's got to be a heel. She's got to do that, but it just feels so out of character. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
talking about the fact that she is a heel. I'm just talking about the fact that how she's approaching that character. It just, it just like I can see, like, let's say 2010 Randy Orton punt kicking John Cena's father. I can see that because
Right.
that's kind of his, that was kind of his thing. But what I have a hard time with is just some of the tactics that Becky Lynch was using. May you know Maybe I'm seeing this through rose-colored glasses, but I don't know. It just is not hitting for me.
Yeah, it's not. First and foremost, I would like to go on record and saying that Valkyria has really showed me why she's IC champion now.
Yes.
I give her credit. It was credit due. I mean, the past couple weeks she's shown me why. And I mean, not to be that guy, but I've noticed things about her that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm very familiar with your game now. You looking kind of,
Hmm.
in your ring gear. But to move on back to her in the ring, yeah, that that storyline between them two could have went a lot different because they're both Irish. Um, I did like the notion of Becky saying, "I'm gonna make that title relevant." I made you relevant. Now I'm gonna make that title relevant. I get that she was adding on to the whole man mystique at the time
Hmm.
when she said that, and Becky can be a heel, but the way she's approaching it, her mic skills are better as heel than her in ring action are because
Yeah, good point.
nothing about okay. My best friend, he's told me this years ago. This was like the peak of the man mystique.
Hmm.
We was talking about it, and I was blinded at first. I was like, because I was backing Becky when she was going up, coming up. It was all about Charlotte, blah 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 blah. And then Ronda came in. I hope they don't bring Ronda back, but Ronda came in, and it was trying to kind of like building it towards Becky and Ronda, I believe, or either Charlotte or Becky, or Charlotte or
Hmm.
Ronda, and then Becky inserted herself or whatever. But the one thing he told me, and it stayed to me to this day, and like at first I didn't really see it till he said it, but he was like, I don't really like Becky Lynch in the ring. She's boring. And I was like, why? And he was like, because she reminds me of John Cena. And I was like, oh wow. So then the following week, I think it was Raw or whatever. I watched her match, and we critique a lot of things in the ring,
Sure.
outside the ring, whatever. And I noticed, I was like, hmm, she do not necessarily a lot of the same moves a lot, but it's like it's no okay, it's like changing of the guard, when we watched all the guys back in the day, like, the attitude era is really big about this. If you go back and watch some of the matches, Stone Cold is not a very technical wrestler, obviously. We know that. But he goes stomp, punch, he jumps, he swing into the ring, jump up on the person, boom, boom, boom. It's
Hmm.
more, striking than anything. But power slam here, neck here, whatever. It's not a lot of wrestling moves when it comes to Stone Cold. And you get the stunner or whatever. And you see a lot of that during the Attitude Era, where you got more story than you actually got action in the ring. But then you flip it, and now this era of us watching wrestling is more action and storyline. The storyline might not be a lot, but the action is very, very well put together in the ring. And that's another thing with AEW. Like, AEW, they keep talking about, we got the best performers in the ring, blah, blah, blah. Granted, they do. They do a lot of things in the ring that's amazing. But at the same time, the storylines are all over the place. Like you couldn't even tell me what storyline I could like pinpoint to like any night, any given night. It could be, you know, one thing, granted, if you got one particular wrestler you follow, you stay on that storyline. You don't go nowhere else. You stay on one. But with WWE, you got multiple wrestlers that you like, and you have their storyline. Like you know what's going on or where they're going with it. So yeah, to come all the way back to what I was trying to say is that Becky ain't really hitting in the ring no more. Like, like it's like I can see the big difference between Valkyrie and Becky because Valkyrie is the new wave, the new generation. She can do a lot of things. She's very athletic, and Becky's more grounded. She's kind of like
And always has
Natty.
been. Yeah.
Or Natty, Natty don't
A
like to
good
get on
call. Yeah.
top rope. Natty don't
Yeah.
do, she don't. It's a lot of things she like to keep grounded. So Becky's kind of like that. And then the manhandle slam. Uh, selfishly, I hate to say it, I wish The Rock would have not blessed her with that move. But it is what it is. It's her move now.
Yep.
So be it. But it's kind of like, mm, it's kind of like Bailey said it best with her move. Like, she used to do the back slam. Sometimes you gotta switch it up. And I mean, the arm bar is always gonna be her go-to move. That's the
Mm-hmm.
submission. It's more believable because it's an actual submission move. You have to make somebody tap. That manhandle slam looks like a basic move to progress to something else. It's not a finishing move.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up about John Cena because, like, what I got out of that match was that Lyra is a phenomenal performer. Let's not get it twisted. She's got a great look. She's got great gear. Her gimmick's great. Um, Great looking woman. I mean, she's got
She has
it.
the package. Yeah,
Yeah,
she got it.
she's the total package, but she's also green.
Yes.
Becky Lynch schooled her. And yes, I know this is predetermined, but Becky Lynch schooled her with her experience and the way that she was definitely calling the spots in that match.
Yeah, for sure.
It
For
was
sure.
definitely, I mean, the heel usually calls the spots in the match, but she was definitely calling the spots in that match. And it kind of just did not really play into Valkyria's um
Wheelhouse.
yeah, wheelhouse. Yeah. And I feel like that, like they didn't like character wise, they may have had chemistry, but in ring wise, it was an oil and water kind of situation to me. That match, it again, Valkyria, they're they're both great performers. Let's not get it twisted. But Valkyria needed somebody like an Io Sky or even Dakota Kai, like
Oh
so,
God. I mean,
like somebody that can go move for move with her to be able to get the best match out of her.
and that goes back to that discussion we had about the triple threat match,
Mm-hmm.
back at WrestleMania with Io Sky, Bianca, and Rhea Ripley. Like those fit like a glove. Like you have different uh a contrast of moves, but they fit well because you have this unicorn and Bianca who is strong but athletic. And Io Sky, she's sneaky strong somewhat, but she's super athletic. Like she's all about the sky. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have Rhea, like this powerhouse, this brute force of a wrestler, and you add them three together, and it makes a beautiful cake. But then you have
Best match at WrestleMania weekend.
exactly. So then you come with Becky and Naira, Valkyria, and it's like like trying to make a 5-star gourmet dinner with a Lunchable. So
Yeah.
it's like, I mean,
That
would I be
yeah,
upset they move away from this rivalry? No, I won't.
no, no, because that match did neither one of them any favors. I mean,
No, not at all.
Becky Lynch is the first ballot Hall of Famer. She's one of the greatest of all time. The first, one of the first women to main event a WrestleMania. I mean, she's an all-time great, but that match did neither one of them any favors.
I was praying that Bailey was gonna show up. Like I was
Same,
seriously before the match
same,
started, I was
yeah.
like, Bailey got to come out and they start they thing and move on with Valkyria going elsewhere. But
If just to get her lick back over Becky taking her out.
yeah, yeah, we still ain't got to that. But
Yeah.
I mean, not Becky, Bailey might be legitimately hurt and might need a little bit more time off, but who knows? So
They can always build something for SummerSlam or
yeah,
something later on in the year. But yeah,
dear God
that
only.
match definitely disappointed me.
Look, I definitely want to. I'm looking forward to SummerSlam, but at the same time, every time I see the advertisement for SummerSlam and it's Cardi B on it, I'm just like, oh God, let's not have a Travis Scott situation. But
Oh God, he's brought up Travis Scott, he's brought up Ronda Rousey, he's brought up Cardi B. What's next, Dom? Come on, bro.
oh, I got a long list.
Oh God. Well,
I
I
mean,
don't
hey,
know all night.
this is the
Yeah.
world. This is the wrestling world we live in now, where celebrities are getting more and more involved in wrestling than they ever have.
Oh,
So,
unfortunate. Yeah.
unfortunately, I mean, some of them are worth it. Like, I'm always gonna give Bad Bunny his props. I would have never thought in a million years that he would be any close to even being like a phenomenal person in the ring, but he showed me something that night
Yeah.
at Backlash.
Yeah.
So he got my respect. And then, Logan Paul, obviously, he has some of my respect. I mean, I don't look forward to him wrestling Jay, but as long as he lose, I'm fine with that. Uh, but the I show speeds of the world and the Travis Scotts of the world. Let's tone it down.
Yeah.
Let's
Please,
give
please.
me more athletic celebrities, please.
Yes. Thank you. Uh, all right. I think a sneaky good match was Dominic Mysterio and Penta.
Oh man.
Dominic retained the Intercontinental Championship, but what is that about Dominic? Like I said for years, the guy's useless. Is he actually getting good at this?
I think they finally found their niche with Dom. I mean, like, we've said it for as long as this man has been in the WWE as a performer, outside of him wrestling with his father and then won the tag team titles, I was like, Dom's still useless. He's still, green. He is still getting carried by his father. And then obviously with him being added to Judgment Day, he was still kind of the weakest link of Judgment Day. Now, don't get me wrong. As much as respect I'm giving Dom, he still is kind of like he's moved up in the rank, but he's still that third person.
Yeah.
Okay. Finn, um, Liv, and Dom. I mean, hell, at one point I could even say JD is a little bit over Dom, but only because Dom is the IC champion. I mean, not JD got more respect because of what he had to go through with the injury. He got all the respect in the world from everybody in the wrestling world.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, but I can give Dom props when it's due. He has really put the work in, and he showed glimpse years ago and during the pandemic, and early stages of Judgment Day. But now with that, I think that IC title really put him right there where he's starting to become that great performer in the ring.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
yeah.
I hate to say it, and I'm not going to, God rest his soul. he's starting to move a little smoother in a Eddie Guerrero-esque kind of way because the suicide dive into that DDT was very Eddie.
Oh, that was cold. That was
That was
cold.
very Eddie-esque.
Yeah.
So um as he continued to progress, I'm loving it. I want more of it. I need him to be because he was very stiff early on when he was doing like the 619s and stuff. And I was like, yeah, he got to get kind of loose.
Like it was kind of paint by numbers. Like he was
Yeah,
just like he just couldn't make the muscle memory work.
yeah,
Um, but one thing about one thing about wrestling is that I have the more reps you get,
the easier things come.
the easier things look. And I feel like that's kind of the next that's kind of the next step with him because Penta has been blowing me away
Yeah,
since he
yeah,
came over.
yeah. Uh,
Like,
I definitely can say Penta. Well, and that was like, and I can say this by AEW. There's certain wrestlers I've watched since they started, and Penta was one of them. Him and his brother. And to see his transition from AEW to WWE, obviously it was kind of murky early on because he had to get used to the ring and the ropes, different
mhm.
than AEW or whatever. But he's really got his footing in WWE and got the crowd behind him and got his own little nick that he do when he come out to the ring,
Yep.
like the smooth criminal, smooth operator or whatever. So I'm loving what I'm seeing for Penta, and I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a title in the next coming months. So
Yeah, I would not be surprised either. The thing that I love about Penta is that he brings the lucha thing. Like he brings the
oh
high
yes,
flying, the mask, the face paint, all of that. But there's
yes,
also kind of an old school sort of, you know, NWA like old WCW kind of vibe, especially with the way that he sells. Like, like if like his psychology is just on point like that. And I can't wait because apparently they're going to be putting him and his brother together, tagging them together.
yeah.
Thank God, because those two are just money.
You think it will happen for the draft? You think they're gonna draft one of the brands are gonna draft him?
I don't know how they're going to work it, but that's kind of the speculation that I've been hearing.
You know what? So I'm saying, think about it. Maybe one of these episodes we do, we maybe hopefully we can get more people involved in the pod. But if it's just you and I,
Yeah,
maybe we can do our own little mock draft, as they say.
like a WWE fantasy draft. That I
Yeah,
could
like
get.
a
I
fantasy
could, I
draft.
could get
Yes,
that. Yeah, I could dig that.
top 10 pick.
Yeah, I can certainly dig that. But yeah, no, yeah, that match was sneaky good. Dom retains. Um, Kind of wonder what's next for Dom.
Well, we definitely know it's at the end of the rainbow or the end of the line is Finn, obviously. Um, the next opponents to come at I'm very interested to see. But did you see how Finn was just lollygagging around like he didn't want to help Dom at all?
He was eyeballing Dom hard.
Yeah. And like he jumped the barricade and they running and then he like, oh wait. Then he went to go get a chair. Like, come on, man. You didn't need a chair to beat on Penta. It was you and JD. Come on.
Yeah.
But
All right. Pat McAfee and Gunther.
the what is it? The as we call the match in any PLE or any show, the toilet bowl match. You can go use the bathroom, maybe get you a drink, you know, take some loved ones here and there. You know,
Right.
get
Go
your
walk the
business together.
dog. Go put your
You
kid
know,
to
walk the
bed. I
dog.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if any foregone conclusion to a match, um, obviously there was a little bit of build because it's Pat. He talks a lot of ish.
Like a good
And I
game.
mean, it's Gunther, he lost to Jay and is coming off that loss. And it's like he's a big bad wolf, and we want to see, you know, the not necessarily dazzle and distress, but the person that has no business being in the ring, potentially pulling out the biggest upset of all time.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. Me and you have been on record saying that with this match, it shouldn't be no less than a absolute slobber knocker of Gunther having to dig his foot out of Pat's butt. But it was very not on the nose as I thought it was gonna be. I thought obviously we're in the PG era, so we ain't gonna use a lot of blood anymore. But I thought it was gonna be on the cusp of that. Yeah, I thought Gunther was gonna take Pat out there and slam him on the announcer table or something. I thought it was just gonna be like just a downright beatdown. But we just got mm, we got a nice appetizer to what Gunther could have done to Pat
And I
if he really
think
wanted to.
no, no, absolutely. And I feel like his character held back a little bit because he could have turned Pat McAfee's chest into a package of hamburger meat if he wanted to.
Oh, if it was Walter, he definitely would have.
Damn right he would have. But I feel like there was a missed opportunity for that because first of all, I've been watching Michael Cole a long time. Damn near 30 years at this point. I don't think I have ever seen him take off his jacket ringside at a pay-per-view
Before a match at that.
before a match. Like he had it on the whole time, but then he took it off. I mean, it was obvious that he was going to get involved.
The man yeeted with a jacket on before. We literally see him on Monday Night Raw with a jacket. Yeet.
Yes, for years. Um, it was obvious that he was going to get involved. But at the same time, I feel like the long play with this is a Bill Goldberg retirement match.
So
Kind
when you
of
say
thought,
long play, as in is he going to like kind of pick up? He kind of gonna be a bully around WWE, like mess with the
yes,
the non-participating talent.
right. Pick on Cole, pick on Pat, pick on the ring announcers. I mean, just like pick on people just to be a bully.
Right.
And I feel like there was a missed opportunity because if they would have booked that match of having Pat get like a miracle win out of this, and then Gunther snaps, just starts throwing tables and chairs and the ring steps and start tearing down the announce table. Sending Cole and Wade Barrett over the guardrail. I don't think the Spanish announcers were ringside, but they could have,
No, that was.
probably doing it remote. But um, I feel like there was a missed opportunity with that, and have Bill Goldberg. And yes, I have to say it like Bret Hart says, Bill Goldberg come in and save the day, because I feel like with Pat's connection with football, being a former player, being on the college game day panel, with Pat being being so, and with his, Monday through Friday show on ESPN, being so tied in with football, I feel like that could have been the connection that they needed to get Bill Goldberg out of retirement.
Well, now that we was on the discussion of Bill Goldberg, I was thinking while you was adequately putting it, how about this? Now, maybe they didn't miss an opportunity. Maybe they have an opportunity set up to where, hear me out. So, Pat is a retired football player, correct?
Mhm.
Now,
To be
what you
clear,
could
a
build
retired
off
punter, but
punter,
yeah.
yes. But what you could build off of this is Gunther goes on a retirement spree, right? He goes after Pat. Um, I mean, I think they did this previously when he was the IC champion, but he could go after Mick Foley, all these retired wrestlers or whatever, and just be like, I'm the present, I'm the future. I'm sick of WWE always wanting all these retired E's to show up and get tickets and um all this fame and glory and blah blah blah. I'm the ring general. I will show you what wrestling really is. Obviously kind of like making it seem like he wants to go after John Cena too, but not really. But then instantly, as he's going through the whole list of retirees, then boom, Bill Goldberg moves hit and he comes out. And with that being said, after they have their little spat or whatever, we know he gonna retire Goldberg. He goes on and pretty much, if it's allowed for Brock, then that we get that build with them two. But
I like where your head's at on that.
yeah,
I like where your head's at on that, because you know where SummerSlam 2026 is going to be.
Minnesota, correct?
Soda, yep.
Mm.
And that would be a prime opportunity for Brock to get his retirement match. Of course, if they can bring him in with his name being all over that,
Yeah,
all over those Vince McMahon lawsuits.
all of the legal tobacco. I mean, not tobacco. Excuse me, tobacco. The craziness that goes on with Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So
Yeah, exactly. But I kind of wonder how they're going to continue this story, because I mean, McAfee got in some offense on that on
he
Gunther.
did. He got quite a bit of licks in. I mean, it wasn't powerful to like just shock anybody, but I mean, them kicks he did, they was definitely his patented signature kicks from the NFL. So
His punches make Shane McMahon look like an expert puncher. I mean, his
his
punches
punches
are
make
awful.
it make Shane McMahon look like Sugar Ray Leonard in
Thank
there.
you. No,
Because
his
I mean, Pat did learn how to throw a fist pump, fist punch, or smack somebody. Because the way he smacked is very Will Smith esque, if I may
Will
so
Smith. Yeah, there you go.
wait may say so myself. Because he kind of came with the cut instead of just slapping.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's a there's there's kind of a fine line between that, and he did not cross that line.
Yeah, I think he was really being like very careful of how he hit Gunther because in the world of wrestling, as we've said so many times on the show, it's a certain way you hit somebody, and if you don't hit them like they expect you to hit them, you could get a receipt coming back your
Yep.
way. So he didn't want a receipt at all.
Yeah, and Pat knows he's going to have to be on ESPN on Monday morning and on Monday
Yeah,
Night Raw.
and his
He doesn't want,
podcast.
and yeah, he does not want to be showing up on camera with a fat lip after Gunther gave him a receipt.
A good shiner in his eye, and they had to put a lot of makeup
Exactly,
on that. So,
exactly, exactly. But honestly, that match kind of went how I think we both
I-
how we both expected it to.
yeah.
I'm curious how they're going to move it forward, but you know, I'm glad it was over. I'm glad
Yeah,
it's over.
I'm very glad. Hopefully it's over, but you never know. You never know with this type of storylines going on in WWE nowadays. So
Exactly. All right, let's talk about that main event. John Cena, Randy Orton, one last time. I say in quotation marks because they'd be foolish not to do that again. Kind of closer to the end of the year. Um, what did you think of that match? I thought the match was really good. I thought the match was really well worked. Um, you know, Randy was definitely a solid baby face.
yes, oh, yeah, top
In
hero.
I mean, in his hometown, obviously, but he was a solid face. Um, Cena worked a good heel match, I believe. Yeah,
Way better than the main event. Way better of
oh
WrestleMania
yeah, no, yeah,
19.
way better than WrestleMania. Um, that finish with all of the I feel like overall, I'm a fan of what Triple H has been doing as a booker, but his over reliance of ref bumps and of finisher spamming doesn't work for me. Like I feel like there could be alternative ways around that.
I I didn't understand the Nick Aldis getting involved. I didn't understand all the producers and help
You get
coming
an
out.
RKO, you get an RKO, you get an
Yeah,
RKO.
because we've seen so many refs come out to a ring and get either planted, thrown, power bombed, RKO'd, whatever you name it, whatever. But to have only two refs and then y'all just come rushing out for one ref, not the ref that took two bumps. This man took a bump and then he got thrown into some steel steps. And
Uh-huh.
y'all never come check on him, but you go check on the one guy that get hit with a belt. Really? A belt. And y'all come rushing out. And then, like you said, everybody gets an RKO. Everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Randy did all those RKOs because obviously his back was totally fine.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he kind of like limited the many RKOs he was going to give in the ring just to preserve his back. But I guess, that back is 1,000%.
Yeah.
But the finish of that match was meh. Like
It's
we
messy.
expected, we expected John, we expected John to win for sure.
Yeah.
But the way it was progressing, the way everything was unfolding, I was somewhat thinking that Randy might pull it out until the final trump card came out and R-Truth showed up. And that's what really showed me that, yeah, no, Randy's definitely losing tonight because, and I mean, it would have been fine if R-Truth came out before all those people came out. Like, that would really kind of mess the match up in my eye. You could have sent another ref out. You could have, the ref could have got back up and John could have just like steamrolled him again. I don't care. Like you got
Yeah.
two refs already out there, and then you check on one that only took one bump. I don't get that.
That didn't make a bit of sense to me. That did not
It
make
didn't.
it did not make a bit of sense to me because you had one ref who got beat up. I mean,
I mean, beat up.
yeah,
That's the first time in a while we've seen a ref take that many bumps in a
yeah,
match.
yeah. I mean, I know. I mean that finish. they call it the Dusty finish for a reason, because when Dusty Rhodes was booking, he kind of overused that at times.
Right. Right.
The whole ref bump thing.
Yeah.
But they did that at WrestleMania. They did that at Backlash. I would not be surprised if they do it with CM Punk at Money in the Bank or whatever, whatever they do.
Whoever he wrestles, yeah. I mean,
Or
I hope, I pray, I hope we don't get this type of finish every single championship match because of the fact that, and this is one of the great things about Roman's reign to me, he didn't defend the belt that often, but there was finishes where he finished strong, and it was finishes where he finished kind of like, oh man, here we go with the bloodline getting involved. But
Mhm.
if we're going to go from, and I get it now, if they plan on the whole trump of John Cena ruining wrestling, as he say, then I get it. But I'd rather you ruin wrestling. Like, I mean, to be honest, 20 years of Super Cena, that was ruining wrestling. Everybody, you can agree, everybody
Oh,
hated.
facts.
They
Yeah.
was like, ain't no way in the world this dude could beat Nexus, Brock Lesnar, this, that, and the third. Like he was winning all the time. So you go from him winning all the time to now him cheating to win all the time. And that is, I mean, kudos to you for thinking that. That's amazing storytelling. But I just rather your retirement be you pulling all the stops out to win. Strong, weak, clever, not so clever, just whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want John Cena's last year in WWE as the real champion to be a weak champion.
And you don't have to do it like that. You don't have to do
No,
it like that. I mean, heels all the time. Cheat to win, yes, but do you have to have all of the drama with the ref bumps and the Travis Scott and all that? Do you have to have that, or could you just have, or could you just have, John Cena give somebody a low blow or hit him with a chair or hit him with a belt?
could you? Okay, it is. I'm drawing a finish for you. Let me see if you think about this.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So we get what we got from the match, right? That
Mm-hmm.
second ref comes out. He get bumped, right? Another ref comes out, right? And we get John Cena giving a love letter to us in the form of what Randy did to him, slap the ref in the face, and we get a disqualification. Could you imagine the meltdown that Randy Orton has if John was to do that? And then you get everybody coming out. They
Cool.
come
Like,
checking out
well,
checking out the ref. Randy is just losing his absolute mind. Like, Betty, okay, here we go. R-Truth comes out, it stops him from doing the punt. He gets the low blow, gets hit, whatever. Somehow you continue the match. The ref gets bumped. It's like a whole bunch of chaos. All the refs get bumped. Then we finally get that one ref that started the match with them. He slaps that ref. Randy would lose his absolute mind. He would RKO the cameraman. He would RKO the refs. He RKO Wade Barrett. He RKO everybody. That and Nick comes out trying to stop him. He gets RKO. But could you just imagine John Cena being in St. Louis, Randy's hometown, and pulling the exact same move that Randy did to him and losing that match?
I
John
love that.
finishes strong. He's finished very conniving. And I'm doing to you what you did to me all those years ago.
I love that. I love that because like it's almost like a full circle.
A full
Because
circle.
yeah, because um let's just roll right into this here.
Okay.
As I was saying, when Cena, like, back Cena into a corner, he gets smacked. And he smacks the ref. Randy loses his mind, starts punting and RKOing everybody, and you can still end it in a schmozz finish, but you don't have to look like the booking is
Just wonky.
is just wonky. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that little delay that we just had. I just before we even started, I still had my TV on, and they were showing the press conference. And the one thing, what one thing we've always said about like this whole heel turn that John had, the one true fan he's had is R-Truth, right? Tell me why he was having his press conference. R-Truth comes out and was talking to John. He was like, I mean, we want your friend. I've been following you for years. I've been your fan, this and that, third. And he was like, I don't care about what they be saying, what people be saying about you, about you not being able to wrestle. Like you can't wrestle, right? That struck a chord in John. John stopped whatever he was doing. He looked at R-Truth and said, Ron, that was over the line. You say anything else, there will be repercussions. And he was about to talk again, and then John just instantly lifts him up, and our attitude adjusts him right on the table. R-Truth right on the table in the press conference. Yes,
Really?
yes. Like you look, I said it in the group. I was like, we finally got what we wanted. Obviously, it wasn't like to the degree of what we wanted. Like we wanted John to like just beat the holy mess out of R-Truth, but we finally got that heel John that we want to just do something to our beloved character and R-Truth, and it happened tonight.
I gotta see that. I've got to see that.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got, yeah, no,
And I mean, this
that's
man literally just helped you beat Randy Orton. Like, if it wasn't for him, you would have got planted in your head.
woo,
And you
woo.
just slammed him through a table because he just said something that other people said about you, but you're so like that word triggers you so bad to where you just whatever.
That makes me sad just kind of thinking about that. Oh
Oh,
boy.
if you think that's bad, wait till we see Friday Monday, Friday night. What Randy Orton's gonna do to R-Truth.
Oh man, yeah, no. I mean, the fact that his childhood hero just attitude adjusted him on the table in the press conference. Oh.
Yeah, but he need to be worried about his friend that's going to probably putting his head smooth across the United States.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, oof. All right. But yeah, obviously John Cena retains.
Retains,
And,
yeah,
yeah. And yeah, I feel like you know, I feel like we've kind of exhausted that. And
yeah,
yeah, the one thing before we wrap up here, just one thing that has been kind of bugging me about this whole pay-per-view build is that it's only been 2 weeks since WrestleMania. Like
yeah,
what, 3 weeks since WrestleMania. You haven't had time to put together any real storylines, but you've also got a Saturday night's main event coming up here in a couple of weeks as we're recording this. We already know that it's going to be Jey Uso and our dearly beloved Logan Paul in the main event of that show. Um, got Money in the Bank coming up in a couple of. I'm just saying that the pay-per-view calendar here in the late spring, early summer is incredibly compressed. And I feel like it's going to be to the detriment of the build for all these shows. And
yeah.
it's really unfortunate because you've got some great matches, like great match possibilities out there, but it's gonna get too compressed.
Yeah, as we was discussing it before we started the show, now don't get me wrong. Obviously it's a great time to be a fan of wrestling. We got way more product than we ever have
Ab-
in recent
Absolutely.
years, especially before and after COVID. But what is that? What is that saying? Too much of a thing is bad because it's like every month we're getting a PLE, and some of the storylines can't progress as they should when you have to kind of speed up the time to let something breathe. So I mean, like, I guess they was going off the nostalgia factor of Randy. I mean, you really don't need that much time to like really build those two up because they have so long of a history together.
Mhm.
But it would have been nice to kind of build on that. Like the next 2 weeks, we hear John talk, but we never see Randy until the last little bit of the promo, and he RKO's John. Then we finally get him talking on SmackDown, and that was one of the strongest promos of out of all the promos leading up to Backlash, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
And it's just you can't always rely on past things to kind of like dissect. I mean, not dissect. I mean, to progress the storyline because I mean, some people ain't as long of fans as we are.
Right.
Um, and then also, some stories need to kind of breathe. You can't just like, Jay and Logan, right? Obviously, they got a little previous pass from a previous encounter, like with the Bloodline. He was on the Bloodline. Recently, I think Jay had the IC title, and I think they kind of feuded,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, or whatever, or maybe not. But either or, uh, we haven't got any promos between them two in the ring, other than when he won the title and he's sitting in the ring, and Logan comes out and want to face him for the title. But it's been on record of how we feel about Logan Paul, and I'm just gonna say this again: no way, shape, or form a man with that type of interest music deserves the world title or any world title of that matter. That particular interest music is definitely fit for a U.S. title, an IC title. Hell, at this point, bring back the hardcore title and let him have that title,
The speed title.
the speed title. But to sit here and think I am finna enjoy watching him be on our product that we watch and love very much and put the world title on this man, I pray that the IWC loses their absolute mind and just ruins any future project if they put that title on Logan Paul. No way, shape, or form this man should come in this organization, this product, and be anywhere close to them titles. I am sorry. It was good that he fought Roman. That was a nice little match. Cool. All right. You fight Jay, that's cool. As long as Jay win, that is totally fine. But to sit here and make me believe that he can be a world champion and you done built Jay, and Jay is your cash cow right now. He's like booming. And on top of that, Karen Cross is number one in shirt sales, by the way. I'm shocked by that. But that just shows you how, like, us fans, we support, some type of truth. I mean, because the man from NXT to now is his downfall needs to be examined because
Mhm.
he was being built up to like Walter status, and yet he gets to the main roster and he's like a puppy, like you barely use him. So if Karrion Kross can get a little bit of love there in that aspect and kind of get in the title hunt, I'll be totally fine because that's how he was built. You just throw Logan Paul in the product, and hey, it's Logan Paul, and you supposed to expect me to just be like, oh, okay, yeah, he's cool, yeah, he should be in the world title hunt. No, no, he's not. He's a reality show guy. He's a YouTuber. I mean, he's a so-called boxer. I mean, like I'm not
One of the
finna
people. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna poo-poo on his accolades. Like he's done it all, and good for him. But I know wrestling is predetermined and this, that, and the third. But to sit here and you put this man in opportunities that people have bled and fought and slept in a car and like, some guys don't even get this opportunity, but you give it to Logan Paul over AJ Styles or Seth. I mean, not Seth. I mean, Seth gets his opportunities obviously, or Braun Breaker or Mello,
Mhm.
Miz. The list goes on and on.
Yep.
Like I'm sick to my stomach that you want to make me believe that this is a match that I want to watch. I don't. So I wish they get this match over with and we move on and go to better storylines because I can't believe we even wasting our breath on this. It's just waste time. And
Yeah,
I
we
pray to
were.
God, like, thank God that y'all are doing this because maybe you don't put him in the Money in the Bank match because God forbid this man wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. I would be sick. I will.
That's strike four, Dom. That's strike four.
Well, buddy, it's a strike every time I see Logan Paul on Raw. Okay,
Make me want to strike my TV.
it makes me want to. I want to crash out. And then to sit there and just promote him like, hey, Logan Paul's gonna be on Raw. Like, I don't care. I don't. I don't care what he got to say. I don't care who he's finna feud with. I don't care. Can we move on from Logan Paul? Can he please go fight his brother for God's sakes or something?
And the most disappointing part about this whole thing is that his mother is like seems like the salt of the earth kind of woman. Like you want to have a glass of wine with her and just, and just relax. I mean, she seems like a really lovely woman, but she gave birth to two reprehensible human beings.
That's the Paul brothers in general are just like I just rather not be bothered with neither one of them. I mean, they just Jake Paul ruined my image of Mike Tyson forever
God.
with that debacle of a boxing match that we watched just to get a quick buck. And now Logan Paul is, I mean, thank God we have so much product in WWE that kind of like washes that bad taste out of my mouth. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, ah, okay, Logan Paul gonna wrestle Jay. But hopefully Jay wins, move on, and I don't be sick to my stomach. But then there's always, oh yeah, Money in the Bank around the corner, and then so be it. They have a qualifying match or something, and then Logan Paul gets into that. Like Jesus Christ, can he not be put in an elimination chamber, a Money in the Bank qualifying match? Anything that you're taking away from the talent that is already there, like a Karrion Kross, like a Gunther, or somebody that's up and coming, Montez Ford. Like guys that deserve to be in the single title. Xavier Woods. At one point, he won King of the Ring, and you don't do nothing with it. So it's like, bro, can we please start focusing on the guys that are there and they have been there for years rather than this guy that has got all these clicks and all these fans. I get it. He's got these younger fans. You want to bring them into the product, but there's so many other superstars on that show that can bring people to see them and see your product. I mean, you got UFC, for God's sakes. I mean, TKO has UFC and WWE. What more fans do you want?
Dude, considering how upset people have been about ticket prices for live shows,
And that's the
that's a
thing.
loaded question.
That's a loaded question. Like, you want me to pay how much to see who fight what? Like, no, I'm not paying that much to see you potentially put a title on Logan Paul. I'm good on that. I'd rather stay home and watch it on Peacock for $8 a month.
Thank you. Thank you. With, cheaper snacks and a
Yeah,
bathroom
cheaper snacks, and I can
cheaper
relax
snacks and a
and know.
bathroom that you can actually trust.
And yeah, bathroom you can trust. You can sit on the couch and relax, be in a nice, cool, cool little warm place, and not have to worry about traffic, disrespectful people, just everything else.
Drunk fans. Yeah,
Yes, drunk fans. Yeah, idiotic fans,
exactly.
disrespectful fans, like the one that threw a beer bottle in the ring, and you know, you was expecting not to get thrown out of, like, read the room. We're not in the old era of wrestling. You can't just up and throw something and not get banned.
The Attitude Era wasn't in 4K. You can pick out these people in the crowd. Just
Yes,
yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Like, and people will snitch on you nowadays. Like, you're not
No,
getting away with it.
absolutely,
Like,
absolutely,
people, and they would snitch on you, like, they had a phone and recording you. You'll be on X and Facebook and whatever in 2.3 seconds, and then they will find you, and then you'll get thrown out. So
hmm hmm
let's be more respectful to the people that are giving you entertainment.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I think on the next time that you and I get together, I think I want to talk about who, not only who wins Money in the Bank for both the men and the women, but who needs it. Who could really push
Catapult.
somebody forward with that? Yeah,
I got a lot of answers on that, and that is very loaded question on who could potentially really change their careers from Money in the Bank.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for putting up with our technical difficulties
Thank you.
here on this episode. And thank you for watching and listening to the Wrestling Roundtable here, this post backlash edition, if I could speak today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our videos. Follow us on YouTube, um, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the things. Tell a friend, tell somebody you don't like. Let's build this up.
Let's build this project that we love and cherish together. Be a part
Absolutely.
of the be a part of the movement. Also, happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers out there in the world.
Absolutely. Yep. This is going up on Mother's Day. So yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers who may or may not be wrestling fans out there.
or they might not be wrestling fans, but it's some stuff that'll get you involved in watching wrestling, even though you don't know what's going on with wrestling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dom, it's been a pleasure. Till next time.
The next time, my brother.
All right. That'll do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's been Wrestling Roundtable Podcast, a presentation of Royal Hearts Media. For Dom, I'm Ryan. Till we eat again.